Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. And I just barely, and I spelled Patriots wrong, I just barely got Hi Patriots into the chat over at YouTube and Rumble. Let me retype that again for all of you. We always have to say good morning to the community. I see Dizzy, the architect, his servant, Krager, Dizzy and Def, Jeffrey, Q1969, Kathleen, Take America Back. I see you both, everybody over there on YouTube and Rumble. We got everybody coming in, and we got a lot of news to cover, folks. Oh my gosh, we got a lot of news to cover. Going through preparing for the show yesterday, it was astonishing hearing the media talk about a former president possibly, or not, I shouldn't say possibly being assassinated, having an assassination attempt on his life. Twice. When was the last time, I can't even recall in American history, that you've seen two assassination attempts on a president or a former president, and then the media come out as if it's no big deal? It's fine. No, it's his rhetoric. He needs to tone down. It's his fault, is what they're saying. It's his fault for his rhetoric, is what the media is saying. Now, I shouldn't be shocked. Because this is the Democrat Party, the mainstream media, the legacy media's whole narrative that there's no such thing as personal responsibility. There's no mirror in these people's homes or in their offices or anywhere in the vicinity to have them look and go, hey, maybe you should think about the fact that most assassination attempts or most assassinations have been done by far, the majority, almost all of them, done by the Democrat Party alone. No acknowledgement of that, folks. We got a lot of news to cover. Couldn't be more than happy that you chose my outlet, meaning the Bald Brad Show, to catch up on what the hell's going on. So we got JD Vance here coming out yesterday and revealing kind of what Trump told him right after the assassination attempt. So I always love these types of clips because you get the behind the scenes of what really happened rather than having to go through the media to decipher what really happened. Like I said, the media is saying it's all Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault that he got shot at the first time in the head. It's Trump's fault that another guy sat there for 12 hours waiting for him to show up on the golf hole to shoot him. It's unbelievable. Here's JD Vance.
Call, and it says Donald J. Trump. So I answer it, and he says, JD, you're not going to believe this, but they tried to do it again. And I said, no, they didn't. You're joshing me. What's going on here, sir? And he says, no, I was playing golf, and the Secret Service found somebody who was trying to shoot me. And I say, oh, my Lord, sir, I'm so glad you're okay. I mean, are you doing okay? Are you not just physically okay, but everything's fine? He said, yeah, I'm doing fine. And this is just who Donald Trump is. He said, I'm a little mad because I was about to make a birdie putt on the 6th hole, and they wouldn't let me finish. And the guy's literally like, this happened, he calls me right after, this is 10 minutes after, and he's pissed off that they won't let him finish his birdie putt, right after they found a guy with an AK-47. But by the way, that is kind of the guy that you want to be president of the United States, right? Who's fazed by nothing, who's telling jokes afterwards.
That's a tough SOB, man. I'll tell you. Like many have said after that first assassination attempt, that's not something you teach, folks. That's just inherent. That comes from just birth. That comes from Darwinism of just pure superiority. And let me tell you, that guy's a badass, man. That guy is a B.A. And that's who I'm voting for. I ain't voting for the cackling, babbling buffoon that can't get a simple sentence out of her mouth, let alone run a state nor a country. Now, CNN pundit says it's too late to de-radicalize people who hate Trump. There might be some truth to this. Folks, he's in danger. CNN Republican commentator Scott Jennings, who we love here on the show, made it clear on Monday that after a second assassination attempt targeting former President Donald Trump, he was given absolutely no quarter to those blaming Republicans for ratcheting up the temperature with regard to rhetoric. Now, what's weird here is the media aren't acknowledging the rhetoric that they've been saying. And so later in the show, I'm going to play you clip after clip after clip after clip of the media, the Democrat Party's rhetoric. And this is just some of them. I could spend hours, and I really do mean that. That's not an exaggeration. I could spend hours showing you clips of just media rhetoric. Trump's a threat to democracy. Trump's a threat to the country. He's going to put us in World War III. He's like Hitler. He wants to execute people in the streets, like we saw from Joe Scarborough saying that. We'll get there. We'll get there.
But the rhetoric is on both sides. It's coming from the right,
Rhetoric,
it's coming from the left.
The rhetoric, they have tried to kill this man twice, okay? He got shot in the ear, and this guy was sitting up shop outside of a golf course to try to kill him this weekend. And I know after something like this happens, it's very fashionable to, talk about rhetoric on both sides. Donald Trump is the target, okay? He's the current target, and it's happening, and it's happened again. And honestly, we have to have a conversation about elections. If you lose an election, the country's not going to come to an end, okay? What I want Democrats to do, honestly, is to say, it's okay. Like, if Donald Trump wins, democracy will not end, the Constitution will not end, we're not going to live in a dictatorship, there will not be a bloodbath. All the things they say that are totally fabricated, to me, it would be a good day to stop doing that. The most important thing that could possibly happen, in my opinion, is for everybody to agree, especially Democrats, that the country is not going to be irreparably damaged if Democrats lose, that the Constitution is not going to go away, democracy is not going to come to an end, there will be no bloodbath, there will be no dictatorship on day one, which they all say all day long on this network and others. If everyone could just agree that that kind of hyperbolic statement will not take place anymore and that it's not been true every time it's been said, that would be a step in the right direction. And I know everybody's talking today about all the rhetoric in this country and what are we going to do to fix it going forward. Folks, it's too late. It's too late, in my opinion, because of all the rhetoric about Donald Trump over the last several years, that he's a threat to democracy, that the country will come to an end if he gets elected president again. Even over the weekend, we had people blaming him and J.D. Vance for a bomb threat in Springfield. Well, if you have believed that over the weekend, then how can you not believe that the rhetoric leading up to today is not somehow responsible for the fact that this man has now survived 2 assassination attempts? So what I want Democrats to do, honestly, is to say, it's okay. Like, if Donald Trump wins, democracy will not end, the Constitution will not end, we're not going to live in a dictatorship, there will not be a bloodbath. All the things they say that are totally fabricated, to me, it would be a good day to stop doing that.
They won't do it. No. Well, Democrats right there, well, what's your receipts, man? What do you mean we're not going to do it? Well, one, if you're listening to me saying that, you're literally still not doing it. And two, because it wasn't even hours after the assassination attempt. You're talking minutes after this dude, the news came out that he survived another assassination attempt. They were already coming out saying he's a threat to democracy. He's going to destroy the country. That's why Trump is Hitler was trending. So this whole thing is they're not going to do it because they know the rhetoric out there. They know what they're doing. Now, a surprising one from all this, speaking of rhetoric, is The View. And I know how y'all feel about The View. Sunny Hostin horrified by a poll that found millions of Americans support violence to stop Trump. Despicable. She says political violence is so normalized in this country. Well, yeah, because it's mainly one party that's doing it. I'm not saying Republicans are free from political violence, but like I mentioned, if you look at most, if not all, assassination attempts on sitting or former presidents in the United States of America, it's mainly done by Democrats. If you look at all the smash and grabs that have been taking place all across the country, it's primarily done by Democrats. The reason why we could lean into that is because it's not a conservative Republican value to steal things. Most conservative Republicans tend to be religious. They're not people who tend to steal. They do obviously commit those types of crimes and do those types of things. But I would say there's a hierarchy in terms of who's doing more of something. In the same way, Republicans, yes, we have that type of rhetoric where we say, yeah, Kamala Harris, in a sense, is a threat to democracy because she's a Marxist. I mean, by definition, she didn't even perform any sort of democracy. I know we're a republic, folks. I get that. But in terms of performing that aspect of democracy that we do have embedded into our republic, nobody voted for her. So she is not for democracy. She is not for carrying out certain things that people want in terms of, I don't know, electing or nominating the leading person of their party. So there is a hierarchy here. In the same way, there's a lot more people committing crimes in Democrat-ran areas than Republican-ran areas. So here's Sunny Hostin. As much as we don't want to hear her, here's her talking about what we just spoke of.
Saddened and disturbed by the fact that political violence is so normalized in this country. It's something that I think we started seeing when Steve Scalise was injured. And then I think we saw more of it, especially with Nancy Pelosi's husband. And so it's on both sides of the aisle. It's all over the country. And I was just reading this morning, a recent University of Chicago poll examined support for political violence in the United States. And there is more support for violence today against Trump and others. Against Trump, 10% of American adults think it's okay. And 26 million American adults who support violence to prevent Trump from regaining the presidency. More than 30,000 of those own guns, and almost 80% have access to internet organizational tools. That's despicable.
Well, we have to elevate our rhetoric. That's the problem.
Donald Trump's campaign said the former president was safe on Sunday. Folks, again, no recognition from the View there of their rhetoric that they've been pushing for almost a decade at this point about Donald Trump. I mean, that's what their entire show has turned into, is just bashing Donald Trump. Remember, even regarding Ron DeSantis, they called him Death Santis, that he was causing people to die and that he must be stopped. I mean, it's wild. Folks, the survey found that 7% of respondents said force was justified to restore Trump to presidency. Those 7% aren't Republicans, okay? You know, you're not getting that type of poll about Kamala Harris, and nor should you. It's coming from one side. And if you notice, she goes, oh, well, Steve Scalise got shot at a baseball event, which I actually know where that area was. I used to live in that around that area. Done by a Democrat. The guy that attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband, I mean, I could be wrong on this, so take it with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty sure he was not a Republican or conservative. Somebody can correct me in the chat over at Rumble or YouTube, maybe in real time, and let me know. But I don't think the guy voted for Trump or was a Republican. I think he was actually a Democrat or progressive left. Either way, the dude was off his rocker. Hosts cited the instances of political violence, including Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, in 2022, said it happened on both sides of the aisle. Co-host Sarah Haynes said rhetoric was to blame for political violence. Again, not looking at themselves. The way our politicians are speaking right now. How about the way you are speaking right now? We never would have seen that 20 years ago. People will say and do anything. And it's not just on the national level. This trickles down. We're seeing it in politicians, but somehow that's come all the way down, and a lot that's due to technology and social media. Okay, well, true, because social media spreads the crap that's coming out of your mouths, but also, again, the fact on a national level, when you have Maxine Waters standing on a podium out there in the freaking park saying go after conservative Republicans in the streets, in restaurants, yeah, I would say that's a problem. When you have Joe Scarborough coming out on Morning Joe saying Donald Trump's going to start executing people in the streets, that's an exact quote. Yeah, I would say it's a little bit of a problem. But remember, folks, according to Kamala Harris, January 6th was one of the worst days in American history. What an idiot. How about the Civil War being one of the worst days, where you had thousands of Americans dying? How about Pearl Harbor being one of the worst days? How about 9/11 being one of the worst days in American history? But no, January 6th, where nobody died other than that individual that got shot climbing through a window of a door. Other than that, nobody got shot. It wasn't a good day. But to sit there and correlate it to like Pearl Harbor or 9/11, these other terrible things, is just wild to me. But, you know, remember, you have to change your rhetoric, Patriots, in the chat. You guys got to sit there and change the way that you talk and say things. Not them. No, because they're holier than thou. They're better than the rest of us. Now, here's Joe Biden saying, oh, well, and I'm playing this for a reason. Joe Biden thinks that Americans are better off today than they were under President Donald Trump. Now, I'm showing this for a reason, because we're going to show another clip of Joe Biden in just one moment. But I just thought it was laughable that this guy actually believes that.
We went big and we went bold, and yes, the result, yes, we are better off today than we were 4 years ago.
No, we're not. We're not, Joe. I know you think that because somebody told it to you because you can't remember yesterday, but we're not. And this is the same guy that chauffeured himself out just yesterday, and slurred through this sentence of saying there's no place for political violence in America. None, zero, never. Now, I'm going to show you a back-to-back because I want you to see the sliminess of that party, meaning the Democrat Party. I want you to see the sliminess of this president. I want you all to see in a moment, after we're done playing this clip, of a side-by-side of how dirty this guy is. I know you all know that, Patriots. But remember, 83 million people allegedly voted for this guy. Still no apology for the damage this guy's done to the country. Nobody has the wherewithal to look at what their vote did 4 years ago, so much so that they're willing to vote in another Democrat named Kamala Harris without even knowing her policies, without even able to justify the accomplishments she's made, even in life. Well, she was an attorney general. Wow, do we need to go on how she got elevated to that position? I don't think the Democrats want to go there.
Before I begin, I want to make a quick reference. The attempted assassination against our former president in Florida yesterday. I commend the Secret Service for the expert handling of the situation. And the former president is protected from harm and is the subject is in custody. An acting head of the Secret Service is in Florida today assessing what happened and determining whether any further adjustments need to be made to ensure the safety of our former president. Let me just say, there is no, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, those of you who know me, many of you do, no place in political violence for political violence in America. None. Zero. Never. I've always condemned political violence. I always will in America. In America, we resolve our differences peacefully at the ballot box, not at the end of a gun.
Yo, he just said the battle box again? Remember how he said that before? Am I just missing that? Hold on a second. No way in hell he just said battle box again. Hold on.
We always will in America. In America, we resolve our differences peacefully at the ballot box, not at the end of a gun.
He did.
America suffered too many times the tragedy of an assassin's bullet. It solves nothing.
Do you notice? Do you notice at an assassin's bullet? Let's call it what it is. It's a Democrat doing this, Joe. Again, this is what they do when they teach students about history nowadays. Oh, it's the North versus the South for the Civil War. No, it wasn't. It was the Republican North versus the Democratic South. Yeah, it was the Democrat Party. The reason why they do that, folks, because a lot of people that teach this stuff tend to be Democrat in the education system, as well as when they're talking here. And so whenever they talk about the Ku Klux Klan, they never correlate to the Democrat Party. Whenever they talk about anti-civil rights, they never correlate to the Democrat Party. Whenever they talk about racism, they never correlate to the Democrat Party. Whenever they talk about all these things like slavery, they never correlate to the Democrat Party. Whenever they talk about Jim Crow laws, they never want to talk about the Democrat Party. Whenever you talk about that one drop aspect, where even if you have one drop of African American or black in you, then you're considered black. That was established by the Democrat Party. That was found to be so nuts by Hitler that Hitler didn't even implement it in Germany during World War II. Hitler looked at how the Democrat Party ran their blueprint and carried out the insane ideology in his own country. And there's certain things that the Democrat Party did that even Hitler was like, whoa, that's too far. And one of those was the one drop. So notice the way that they sit there and kind of obfuscate the whole idea of how corrupt that party's always been. And as I mentioned, you guys, I know I'm going on a little bit of a rant here. You don't see the Nazi party in Germany anymore. Nobody's sitting there going, I'm running for the Nazi party. Why is it that you sat there and had slavery as part of the Democrat Party? You had the Ku Klux Klan as the Democrat Party. You sat there and pushed racism more than anybody else as the Democrat Party. You're the party of anti-civil rights. You're the party of abortion. Like, how the hell is the Democrat Party, through all the terrible things they did as this country, or in this country, how are they still part of it? Like, how is that still like an establishment? Why is there no new party? I find it weird as hell. They fought an entire civil war and they still push the Democrat Party.
And just tears the country apart. We must do everything we can to prevent it and never give it any oxygen.
Never get any oxygen, even though you come out with your dumbass rhetoric and continue to push it. So here's a side-by-side, folks. Oh, I got you. Oh, clip this one, folks. Here's Joe Biden of what you just heard. And here's Joe Biden on the right not too long ago. Watch how slimy this party is.
There is no, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, those of you who know me, many of you do, no place in political violence for political violence in America. None. Zero. Never. We must do everything we can to prevent it and never give it any oxygen. Most importantly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Trump is a threat to this nation. There is no
Do we not bring the receipts here, Patriots? Do we not show you and support the things we say and do for the most part? Again, a lot of this is ad-lib, folks. I'm not one of those commentators that does a ton of research, even though I should. But, we do this as a hobby, and I just recall prior news articles that we've covered in the past. That's all I'm doing. At times, I might be wrong. It's few and far between, but it does happen. And that's why we got a community here that will call me out when I am wrong. I don't have much of an ego, so when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We get things wrong. Allegedly, there's no Haitians eating pets in Springfield, Ohio. I talked about that. Why? Because I saw video after video, as well as heard about constituents in Springfield, Ohio, talking about the fact that they're doing this, and I reported on it. So we do get some things wrong here or there, and we will see if people are in fact doing that, because again, reporting is coming out that that's what's taking place. So we also have the Trump team bringing receipts. It ain't just me, folks. And they highlight 50 times, over 50 times, Democrats media use extreme rhetoric about Trump. So what could some of these possibly be? Well, let's just go through a few. Is that okay with you, Patriots, if we kind of go through? Because remember, it's Donald Trump's fault that he's had multiple assassination attempts on his life that we know about, by the way. Can you imagine all the threats they get behind the scenes that we don't know about? Well, Kamala Harris repeatedly, Trump is a threat to democracy and fundamental freedoms. It's on us to recognize the threat Trump poses. Does one of us have to come out alive? Joe Biden, it's time to put Trump in a bullseye. I mean, this from the bottom of my heart, Trump is a threat to the nation. Trump is one existential threat. It's Donald Trump. Trump is a genuine threat to this nation. He's literally a threat to everything America stands for. Trump and MAGA Republicans are a threat to every soul of this country. Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic, and that is a threat to this country. Tim Walz, are Republicans a threat to democracy? Yes. Are they going to put people's lives in danger? Yes. Gwen Walz, bye-bye Donald Trump. Nancy Pelosi, Trump is a threat to our democracy of the kind that we have not seen. Crockett, MAGA in general, they are threats to us domestically. Gee, I mean, folks, it just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going. But remember, it's Donald Trump. It's all of you guys that are a threat to this country. It's all of you guys that need to change the way you speak about things. My ass. I don't think one damn bit. It's just a way to sit there and try to turn the narrative onto Republicans that they're the cause for their leading candidate to almost be killed twice. It's not. In the same way, they're going to sit there and say Republicans, the party of racism. This is called revisionist history in real time. You're watching it in real time because the Democrats can never take the blame for their actions. They don't want to expose the evil of their party. Remember, folks, this is the party that wants to kill children through abortion, even at the end stage of abortion. How do we know that? You can call right now. You can actually test it yourself. You can call an abortion center right now and say, hey, I would like to get an abortion. I think my son or daughter's autistic and, I'm, certain week pregnant. Just throw a number out there. It doesn't matter to them. And they'll sit there and perform it for you. I've actually seen people do this on air, like live, calling these abortion centers. So don't give me this of like, oh, well, it's only like 48 hours that I'm doing this. No, they're not. No, they're not. So much for rare and legal. Furthermore, this is the people that are at some point, it's already almost happened in the state of California, that are going to remove your kids if you don't sit there and affirm their gender. So if you have a 3-year-old that says that they're a woman or a female, when in actuality they're a biological male, if you don't affirm that, you're going to have child services knock on your door and remove your child at some point in this country. It almost happened in the state of California, by the way. And usually they're the ones that kind of spearhead a lot of these psycho things. Remember, the Democrat Party is the party that lost 320,000 children to forced labor and sex trafficking. Nobody wants to talk about any of those things. It's remarkable, is it not? Remember, Trump's a threat to democracy. Trump's a real threat to your children. When there was no new wars started under Donald Trump, he seized the border for the most part while fighting Democrats who wanted to allow the border to be open. See, Democrats have a weird fascination with children. They have a weird fascination with sitting there showing children at a 2nd or 3rd grade level in New Jersey how to use butt plugs, dildos, and how to masturbate with the use of cartoons and pornography books in the libraries. Those types. It's a weird ass party now, I'm telling you. I get when people want to be independent. I would not want to be a part of that party either. No way in hell. The second Republicans start doing weird stuff like that, I'm gone. Granted, I'm a fiscal conservative, not a Republican, but I'm registered as a Republican. So there's the receipts. Oh, we're not done yet, folks. Hang around. Oh, boy. We're not even close, baby. Is this off a little bit? This looks off. There we go. Let me fix that for you. I apologize. Hey, we got to make things perfect here. Now, what we also have is more stuff. Now, I just want to post this from the Trump War Room. I mean, there's more receipts, folks, of a list of more people being cited that Donald Trump's a threat to democracy. Donald Trump wants to destroy our country. He's an existential threat. So we got more receipts. That was just some of them, okay? So we're not going to rehash all of that. Now, the one video that resurfaced yesterday was Dan Goldman saying that Donald Trump has to be eliminated. Remember, I know I'm repeating myself. Change your rhetoric, though, patriots. Change the things that you say, not the Democrats.
And it is just unquestionable at this point that that man cannot see public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
Just gonna play that back real quick.
He has to be eliminated. 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 He has to be eliminated.
Weird. It's funny because you don't see MSNBC playing that clip over and over again. You don't see CNN playing that clip over and over again. You don't see any of these clips that I'm about to play of them talking about the rhetoric that they've done, right? And still do, by the way. This they have not stopped the threat to democracy, even after, right? It's so wild to me. You could actually have Donald Trump getting a second assassination attempt on his life, and minutes after that, still coming out with their same rhetoric. They don't care, right? It's so typical of that party to say one thing and do the complete other, which is what you see from Kamala Harris, right? I'm going to fix the border. No, you're not. You haven't even done it. So here is a disgraced former Harris staffer. This person was let go by their campaign. He is so wild. Calls President Trump an existential, urgent threat to democracy.
Trump is a existential, urgent threat to our democracy. He promises to rule as a dictator on day one. He promises a bloodbath if he loses. He promises to replace civil servants with his loyalists. So that's the contrast I think folks are going to see tomorrow night, and we're excited to make it.
Do you think, like, really, patriots, I mean, answer this in all honesty over at YouTube and Rumble. I'm reading the chat. I see you guys. Do you really think that Democrats watch this and don't, like, follow up going, man, it's weird that every outlet is talking about bloodbath. Let me go listen to what Donald Trump said about bloodbath so that I can get the full context of it. Do you think that they do that? Do you think that they do research, or do you think they just listen to this and just take it as pure truth? Like, for example, when I heard that people in Springfield, Ohio were eating dogs and cats, and there's these Haitians from third world countries, I wasn't 100% on board with it. And what I mean by that is, the reason why I say not 100% is a part of me goes, well, they're from a third world country. I could see them doing something like that. It wouldn't sit there and shock me. And then when I see video after video after video after video after video after video after video of this taking place, then I start going, okay, well, maybe there is some truth to this. And then I didn't just stop there. I was trying to hear what the local police were saying and what were people reporting from that. And I was hearing and reading reports that was taking place. I'll even go a step further. Then I hopped on X and I was trying to read, hey, what is the ongoing news that's being reported about this? And people were reporting, there's no evidence of this not taking place. But then other people were reporting, hey, the mayor's sending in more people to receive help. They're having a massive problem down there. They are, in fact, doing this. Local law enforcement are reporting it as well. So when you hear all those things and you're getting it from all these different places, then I was like, hey, you know what? I think I have enough to sit there and run with this. It seems like it is plausible and it is true. So I guess it only came from one rumor, allegedly, but we'll see. But like I mentioned, I just am curious, like, what you all think, because I just, when Trump says something, I don't just take it as pure truth. You know what I mean? Like, I'll sit there and go and do my research and kind of see, okay, what parts was he lying about? What's actually feasible? Well, here's Tim Walz saying just a few weeks ago, after the first assassination attempt, remember, right after the first assassination attempt, Joe Biden comes out, we need to tone down the rhetoric. We need to change the way we do and say things. And then he goes back to just his normal self in the same way Kamala Harris did, and clearly Tim Walz here.
here. That's who they are. So it isn't much else. Don't give them the power. Look, are they a threat to democracy? Yes. Are they going to take our rights away? Yes. Are they going to put people's lives in danger? Yes. Are they going to endanger the planet by not dealing with climate change? Yes. They're going to do all that. But don't lift these guys up like they're sometimes the heroes. Everybody in this room knows, I know it as a teacher, a bully has no self-confidence. A bully has no strength. They have nothing. The fascists depend on fear. The fascists depend on us going back. But we're not afraid of weird people. We're a little bit creeped out, but we're not afraid. But look, and then as you heard this, and one day ago, a poll came out and showed...
Folks, it really is. I mean, it really is astonishing that that party cannot look at themselves. If you were to look at a conservative Republican, you're probably seeing one of the most normal people ever compared to a Democrat. Democrats are walking around the streets of LA in women's clothing. I mean, we used to just call that a cross-dresser back in the day. I remember watching the show Cops, and, you know, the guy gets pulled over in his big rig, because it's a famous episode, and gets pulled over in his big rig, and he steps out, and he's wearing women's high heels and a dress, and he's a cross-dresser. You know, I mean, he's in some weird stuff. Everybody's into some sort of weird stuff, I guess, behind closed doors. Whatever. I don't judge people. But the fact that we're sitting there enabling this type of behavior and playing into these delusions that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man, that was never a thing. We just referred to them as cross-dressers and the guy's into some kinky, weird stuff. But now you're a threat to democracy and you're weird. But again, it's not weird the fact that these people, the Democrat Party, allowed children to be sold off into forced labor and sex trafficking. None of that's weird. None of it's weird they want to show them pornographic images in middle school and elementary school. None of it's weird that they want to show them all this weird stuff of how to use sex toys. None of that's weird. Nope. But you guys are the weird ones because you want to go to church and worship our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Christ is King. Yeah, you are the weirdos for doing that. See, no, you're the weirdos for wanting lower taxes so you have more money in your pocket to pay your bills and give your children a better life. Yeah, you're the weirdos for sitting there and wanting to make America great again. You're the weirdos for wanting to put Americans first and not the rest of the world. Yeah, no, you're the weirdos. That's just really wild. You know, folks, we're all a little weird. Like, I'm weird as hell. I acknowledge that. There's nothing wrong with being weird. It's just, the reason why I'm bringing it up, it's just odd to me that there's a level of weirdness, and trust me, Democrats exceed that by far. When you start running in the streets naked, or like we saw during their LGBTQ parade, the Democrats were sitting there peeing on each other during a live parade and then performing blowjobs on one another out there in front of everybody, in front of children, peeing in each other's mouths. That was on Twitter. I would say that's a little off. You know what I mean? I don't see Republicans and conservatives doing that in broad daylight or in front of children. I don't see drag queens showing up to high school and middle schools unbeknownst to anybody and performing a show to little kids and then using your money that you worked hard for that's supposed to be paying for their lunch going into the thongs of these men that are dancing sexually in front of these children. I don't see the Republicans doing any of that. I don't see the conservatives do any of that. But we talk about it because we don't want our children to be bothered or harmed. We just want them to do well. And you know, we're the psychos, we're the weirdos, we're a threat to democracy. Now, this clip here, folks, is like maybe an hour or two after Donald Trump just had his assassination attempt. Remember, we need to change the rhetoric. Donald Trump just had a second assassination attempt on his life, and this is what she says. Like, just, it's breaking. You see the Cairo down there, right? Breaking news. Donald Trump, right? Breaking news. Here we go.
I talk about the fact that when we swore in finally in January, that we swore to defend against those that are coming against us, whether they are domestic or international. And right now, I feel like MAGA in general, they are threats to us domestically. And we see it time and time again. And I think that's why you see so many national leaders, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, coming together to say there is only one person qualified to be the commander-in-chief, and that is Kamala. I talk about the fact.
Now, I think, dude, I mean, look, I'm a Christian, you guys. I think there's real evil out there. I think there's evil, and there's different levels of it. There's the evil that you see with people beheading people, right, and chopping them up and doing wild-ass things like we see in the Middle East and around the world. Then there's another sort of evil. There's like political evil that we see. Now, it's also on the Republican side of the aisle as well. I'm not letting Republicans off either. But it's also on the Democrat side of the aisle. If you're sitting there and you're puppeting up Kamala Harris when you didn't even like her, I don't know, 3 months ago. 3 months ago. I don't take you seriously. I think you're a liar. I think that you have no actual bounds of morality in the sense of you're willing to sell your soul because you're a Democrat and you must sit there and go with the Democrat establishment. And I just think it's evil. It's swampy. You all see it. I see it. Hell, even independents see it. And that's why a lot of independents are going to vote for Donald Trump. Everybody sees through it for the most part, other than hardcore Democrats. So here's another Democrat, a top surrogate, Stacey Plaskett. Trump needs to be stopped. So she sits there and has a Freudian slip. Check this out.
Having Trump not only have had the codes, but now having the classified information for Americans and being able to put that out and share it in his resort with anyone and everyone who comes through should be terrifying to all Americans, and he needs to be stopped. He needs to be shot. 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 Stop. He needs to be shot. Stopped. Having Trump.
You think we're done yet, Patriots? Oh, hell no, we're not done. I'm going to sit there and beat a dead horse with this because I'm so tired of the mainstream media lying. And hopefully we get a Democrat, and lately we have been, that weasel their way in here, and maybe they could be red-pilled and actually have a thought process go through their head for once about the fact that their own party is the one that's driving this country into the ground. Do I want anybody to be harmed? No, I don't. I don't want Joe Biden to be harmed. Hell, I even tell every now and then, I say, hey, pray for our president, not just Donald Trump, but our country and Joe Biden, because we need him to make good decisions. Now, I'm hoping for a miracle from our Lord that he could sit there and cure Joe Biden to where his head is on straight and it actually works. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And, in the same way for anything that goes on is I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. That's why I've been talking about crime. That's why I've been talking about illegal immigration. I've been talking about all these things because Democrats have caused it, and I want it fixed so people, both Democrat and Republican, are not harmed. It's unbelievable, though. Unbelievable. So we had Democrat Representative Cheryl blames Donald Trump and the availability of assault rifles for the second assassination attempt against his life. In 2 months, by the way. Some of you just spit out your coffee. I know, this is wild.
The second assassination attempt. So I think we need to put more resources towards this. But I think we also have to address some underlying issues that are going on here as well. This really seems to be the confluence of two very bad things going on in the Republican Party. On one side, the attempts to divide.
We're more unified than ever, lady. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. I understand you're on CNN right now with Jim Acosta, who sucks at his job, and the fact that he's even an anchor is unbelievable in my opinion. But really, yeah, again, most assassination attempts are done by who? It's Democrats, of course, but let's obfuscate that. Yeah, let's pretend like that hasn't happened in American history, because we have to turn a blind eye to all bad things that party's done. Yep, no.
To enrage the population, to put out false rumors and misinformation.
Like the Russia hoax, like the PP tape, like the Hunter Biden laptop, just like Joe Biden's corruption, allegedly, where he's embezzling money. Kind of like the fact that we couldn't talk about Hillary Clinton. Well, Hillary Clinton's corruption as well with Benghazi. Let's throw that in there. Let's talk about the Clinton Foundation allegedly taking money from people. What else is going on? There's also, these are all things that they've either hid from us or they wanted to push as a hoax themselves. What's another hoax, Patriot? Oh, I got one for the classified document scandal. That's a hoax right there. Russiagate, the Mueller report. Shit, what else do we got here? We already have the Hunter Biden laptop. There's more out there that I can't think of off the top of my head in this morning, but there's relentless ones.
We know the mayor in Springfield is begging the Republican Party to stop with the false information on immigrants. They have portions of the town on lockdown at this point, and an increase in all of the partisanship and the fear-mongering that's going on. And then on the other side, we have this complete availability of assault rifles to, it seems, almost anyone who wants to have access. This is the second assassination.
It almost seems like anyone who wants to have access to a firearm might be able to apply and get one. Yes. Yes. We have, I'll bring it up. You guys don't know that I have this over here. I actually, I don't know if I've ever showed this to you. We have a thing called the Declaration of Independence. And what's that called? The Constitution. Yes. I don't think I've ever showed you guys this behind the scenes if I have this booklet here. Yeah, they don't know. They don't know that we have a nice little Constitution here, folks. But I should maybe send them one of these because clearly they don't know. Yes, everybody has a right to protect themselves up to a certain limit. But, and I don't even believe there should be a limit. You give me a firearm and there's a psycho walking down the street, I'm allowed to conceal and carry. He puts a threat on my life, I'll put a threat on it. You know, you guys know what I mean. You gotta be able to protect yourself, especially in these times. But there you go. It's because of assault weapons, you guys. It's because there's too many assault weapons out there, whatever the hell that means. Now, it's funny because remember, Kamala Harris is saying, oh, well, I'm a gun owner, but I don't want to remove your guns. But then we just heard how she wants to do a weapons buyback program. She wants to confiscate your firearms. Democrat Party wants to get rid of the AR-15 and semi-automatic firearms, which is every firearm out there. It's just unbelievable. Now, here's a clip here, kind of doing a little transition, and then we'll come back to the psycho media for a second. I need to take a break from that crap. I know all of you do as well. Trust me. I feel you. I feel you. Here is some cool body cam footage of the assassination guy getting arrested here.
Keep walking! Keep that long.
I really wish they would have picked that guy up by the belt and just freaking drove his face into the pavement. You guys know what I'm talking about? Just manhandle the guy, just do a little flipperoo on him and just go, oh, sorry, boo! And just have that right here, that part, you know, where the bone, there's not much there. That's why you get cut a lot whenever you're boxing or fighting. Just right on the brow, you know what I mean? Not much there, not much muscle, and just boom, right into the ground. Oh, sorry, didn't mean you're a little top heavy with your big ass head. Now, what they're saying is this guy might not actually be thrown behind the brig for an assassination attempt. If this was coming out, it's from CNN or MSNBC. I kind of caught the clip yesterday where they're making the case that this guy might not actually be locked up for assassination attempt, believe it or not. Oh, it's going to be a hard case to put him behind bars. But yeah, if it's Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, yeah, they got to be gone for life. So the media says tone down the rhetoric. Also the media, Donald Trump is worse than Hitler and Mussolini.
A lot of people have tried to draw similarities between Mussolini and Hitler and the use of the terminology like vermin and the drive that those men had towards autocracy and dictatorship. The difference, though, I think makes Donald Trump even more dangerous, and that is he has no philosophy he believes.
People are idiots. They're idiots. Do I think that Kamala Harris is more dangerous than Mussolini or Hitler or those people? No. No, I don't. These are the same idiots that will go as far going, Donald Trump's worse than Mao. Mao killed like upwards. I've heard of high estimates of like 65 million people. Hitler killed millions of Jews. I don't think there's anybody out there in United States politicians that are worse than any of those people. But this is the stuff they push. Change your rhetoric, though.
Believes in. He is not trying to expand the boundaries of the United States of America. He's not trying to overcome a neighboring country like Putin is in Ukraine. He is not going for some grandiose scheme of international dominance. All he wants is to look in the mirror and see a guy who's president. All he cares about is selfish self-promotion. That's the only philosophy he has, which makes him even more dangerous because he has actually said out loud.
Notice how many times she's saying dangerous, right? Comparing him to these freaking dictators.
That it would be okay to terminate the Constitution to keep him in power. He's
just making shit up. Just like, she's like, okay, now that I've been rambling for a while, what can I pull out of my ass now?
It would be okay to terminate the Constitution to keep him in power.
Just so you guys know, remember how I said this is what they say? Remember how, so it's nice to have like more receipts to prove that I'm not just pulling stuff out of my you-know-what. They actually say he wants to trash the Constitution. That actually comes from, God, it's the guy with the afro. It's partly gray. It's a black guy professor. I think it's not Cornel West, is it? There's a guy that goes that we should throw the Constitution into the trash, is what he said. It was on MSNBC or CNN. I'll have to find the old clip.
He said this. He actually said those words. And the irony is,
in the same way that he said bloodbath, but they want to take that out of context. Yep.
Is all of these supposed conservative folks that have populated the Republican Party all stood around and with their thumb in their mouth going, well, yeah, okay, I guess so.
Am I muted? Thank you. I appreciate it. Holy Lordy, I've been coughing. So, thank you guys. At least you know we're live and that it's real. I don't even know where I was. Let's go back for a second here. This lady here, now that you guys didn't have any sound, this lady here is going to sit there and tell all of us that we have our thumb in our mouth rather than the Democrat Party who has their thumb up there, you know what's. And they're going to sit there and they're calling all of us out now that we're conservatives. She's talking about me, the fact that I'm conservative, the fact that I'm sitting here going for Donald Trump because I can tell when he's exaggerating, when he is lying, and when he is telling the truth. But your party can't, lady. You're the party that's actually sitting there. Donald Trump will go, I'm not for Project 2025, never heard about it, never seen it, never read it, not even a clue what it is. And then 2 seconds later, Kamala Harris goes, he's for Project 2025. He's leading it. He wrote it. And Democrats are like, yes. It's unbelievable, man. These people. But remember, you have your thumbs in your mouth. And, well, Democrat Party, like I said, has a thumbs up there. You know what? Well, here we are, folks. I've been waiting to show all of you this. The Patriots, the true Bald Brad Show fans, hang around towards the end of the show. We still have about another 10 or so minutes left. I'm only halfway done with my content, so obviously I'm going to show you the rest tomorrow. But here is a full-blown, back-to-back-to-back montage of all this stuff for you. Here we go. Buckle up.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take you behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Now, I think we made our point, right? I think we made our point that maybe, you know, it's the media. Maybe it's the Democrat Party that needs to change their rhetoric. I mean, no, we didn't make our point. Okay, that's fine.
Is right when a leader uses language that is more likely than not to radicalize.
Democracy is on the ballot still.
Democracy is on the ballot.
Democracy is on the ballot.
Democracy's on the ballot.
Democracy's on the ballot.
Democracy is literally on the ballot.
Democracy is on the ballot for this election.
Vice President Harris has made very clear that democracy is on the ballot here.
Democracy, of course, is, as the president likes to say, on the ballot.
Terrorism experts call this stochastic terrorism, where somebody has been so demonized that it creates this heightened risk of lone wolf actors.
Donald Trump is turning this nation into Nazi Germany.
You now have a president, as you said, talking about exterminating Latinos.
A re-election of Donald Trump could mean the end of democracy.
This would be the end of America.
An actual Trump-led wannabe empire is the end of democracy.
Stochastic terrorism is a way of using language that is clearly meant to incite some percentage of the people listening for a violent purpose.
What does that potentially do for unbalanced people out there?
He is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
And you know what Democrats will still say? Those that come into the chat, where's the receipts? Which we've been doing for about 50 minutes now, showing you clip after clip after clip after news article after clip after next news article. Cincinnati.com. Trump brings these assassination attempts on himself. Yeah. I'm telling you, these people are not with us, folks. They're not with us, and they haven't been for quite some time. Now, FBI expert tells CNN that the plot against Donald Trump was likely inspired by, I don't know, let's just see what he says. I'm going to wait. I want to know what he says, who this was inspired by.
What does the fact that he wanted to survive say to you?
It says that he's not suicidal, apparently. He wasn't going to take his own life if he was almost being captured. Clearly, we saw that he was captured without that. And it tells me that he's probably much more politically motivated. The last shooter in Pennsylvania, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to promote him in any way, but he was clearly a guy that was looking for the notoriety of taking that shot. I would think we're going to find that this guy's extremely politically motivated and that he probably was spurred on by much of the political diatribes that are going on these days, talking about Trump, equating him to Hitler and things like that. So I don't think this is the last we'll see of crazies out there. Probably was spurred on by much of the political diatribes that are going on these days, talking about Trump, equating him to Hitler. And
so what was that fill in the blank? What was that fill in the blank? The plot against Trump's life was inspired by what? The media and Democrats, because it's all of them that are saying this stuff. It's all of them that's coming after Donald Trump. I'm not saying you're not going to see it from Republicans, but folks, incited by Trump-Hitler comparisons, who's doing all of that? The Democrats are. Who's doing all of that? The media are. But again, like I mentioned, folks, these leftists are blaming Donald Trump for the assassination attempt on his own life. It is a remarkable, remarkable thing of what you're seeing here, even though they continually push these lies about Donald Trump left and right, but the media won't cover it, right? Your campaign should be called something like KDAF, Keep America Democratic and Free. Trump's should be MASA, Make American Slaves Again Master. Democracy is on the ballot and we cannot lose. We cannot afford to fail. The world is counting on us to show the way. Folks, that's from the shooter's Twitter, just to let you know. That's from the assassination attempt dude, guy, gal, whatever the hell he is. Yeah, that's what he wrote. Yep. So it only gets worse, folks. Now, what was weird is, and I've been saving this really for the end here, is the gunman targeting Trump hid for 12 hours before the Secret Service spotted him. Now, here's the thing. Ralph's cell phone pinged at a spot near the edge of Trump International West Palm Beach beginning about at 2 a.m. Sunday morning. This guy had been sitting there for hours. There's only two routes that this could have really taken place in like a high probability. One, he took a gamble and sat there for 12 hours at this international golf course in the hopes that Trump would arrive there. So just took a pure gamble. Or somebody, I'll give you three scenarios, or somebody tipped this guy off. Dan Bongino believes there's possibly a mole in the Secret Service that is tipping people off on to do certain things. Now, he didn't say that. I kind of added in some stuff there, but there's a potential of a mole in the Secret Service. Furthermore, hopefully I'm getting that right from Dan Bongino. If I'm not, then I apologize sincerely. There's a potential of a mole in the Secret Service. I'll just say that myself then. And then there's also the idea, that there was a lot of people at different locations where Trump could have been to sit there and put the president's life in danger. So that's kind of the three scenarios that some people are talking about. I'm just going to remove the Dan Bongino quote because I can't remember 100% if it was him, and I don't want to do that to that man because I love Dan Bongino, and I think he's just a true American patriot. So I'll say that on my behalf, that there, I believe, is a possible mole in one of our intelligence or FBI, DHS, Homeland Security, or Secret Service that has the ability to tip off these people to let them know where Trump's going to be. Because Trump, it wasn't part of the schedule for him to be at that golf course. So it's a really weird, random thing for him to show up and wait 12 hours for a guy that had no indication that he was going to be there on his schedule, and he just showed up. Really weird. Really weird. Mole more like dirty rat. Yeah, they're not right, Buckeye. You're not wrong. I think not right. You're not wrong. Now remember, the would-be Trump assassin was pro-Iran, urged them to kill Trump. Who's supporting Kamala Harris? The Russians, the Iranians. Who's giving the Iranians $10 billion? Oh, it's the Democrats. Who's giving the Taliban $87 million a week? Oh, it's the Democrats. Who's sitting there helping to fund terrorism? Oh, it's Democrats. Who gave the Iranians over $1 billion cash? Oh, it's Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Who's sitting there giving the Iranians more cash and the ability to build a nuclear warhead? Oh, it's the Democrat Party. It's Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. Oh, sorry, I forgot, guys. Forgive me. I mean, not the Democrat. It's not the Republicans or the conservatives. It's the Democrats are doing this stuff. So he has a criminal history. He's a Democrat donor with a criminal history. He's barred from owning guns, meaning he got his rifle illegally. But remember, you guys, we need to sit there and remove all the law-abiding citizens' guns. We need to sit there and remove everybody that sits there and takes the necessary and correct prescriptions or procedures to sit there and get their firearm. But remember, there's no way criminals will get their guns illegally to sit there and harm you. There's no thought process with a lot of these Democrats, unfortunately. They don't actually think about these types of things. So we got a lot more news to cover. Again, I just want to point out the fact that the assassin's gun had filed off serial number, was banned from owning guns. So how do you get the gun then? That's the weird thing. Because we're told, no, criminals can't get guns, you guys. How are they going to get guns? That's weird. How did this guy illegally obtain a firearm when he shouldn't have had one in the first place? Because they're criminals and they're going to do what they want to do. There's no thought. There's no thought with Kamala Harris and the progressive left. There's no thought that people are going to do heinous crimes if they want to, in fact, do the heinous crime. Well, folks, I always appreciate your kind care, love, and support. We haven't done an ad read for them in a while. I want to make sure we plug them because they're keeping us awake in the morning, folks. Do you enjoy free speech that Rumble's protecting and fighting for? Our show on Rumble, they're our main platform, only possible thanks to our viewers supporting Rumble's platform by purchasing Rumble's products. Most of you drink coffee every single day, and that's why you have to try Rumble's 1775 brew, baby. Their coffee. It's actually some of the best coffee And it's the same price as the coffee you buy now, but it's way better, folks. It's actually, you're not gonna get that chemical taste and all that weird stuff. Rumble 1775 coffee is free from chemicals, yet it's rich in flavor. This is because their beans are sourced from high altitude farms in Bolivia, baby. Handpicked, roasted weekly at their facility in Miami and delivered fresh to your doorstep. And as believers in freedom, buying from Rumble helps fight back against woke corporations like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. Join the coffee revolution. Some of you are buying this up. And brew rebellion with Rumble's 1775 coffee. Go to 1775coffee.com and use code STUDIO, baby, and get a free month supply of their cognitive boosting supplement, Limitless. Maybe send some to Joe Biden as well when you buy 2 bags of their coffee. Think about that. It's a crazy deal, and the supplement is worth it, folks. More than 2 bags of coffee. Go to 1775coffee.com. Try their amazing coffee. Use promo code STUDIO. Greatly appreciated. Hey, and why don't we, while we're at it, give a quick shout out to one of our Patriots for making a purchase here. I did post it on my Twitter page. I want to see if I can find it right here. This is Pat over there. Look at Pat getting that Bald Brad Show logo on that truck. That looks good. I want to make sure I give the man a shout out for purchasing, obviously, one of our products. He also has a mug as well. But that logo looks sick on that truck, man. Everybody else, give a thumbs up to Pat for tossing one of those bad boys on his truck. We also shouted Eric, in other words, Shib, for wearing his shirt and giving the old mug a shout out as well on Twitter. Greatly appreciated, Patriots, for always supporting us. You keep the lights on here for us. You keep things going, and that's why we do this every single morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, weekdays, baby. And with that being said, folks, take care of yourself. Pray for Donald Trump. Pray for the President, Joe Biden. Pray for this country. Hopefully, the Lord and Savior will, make things better, I think, for everybody. So with that being said, take care of yourselves. Tell your kids, your family, your aunts, uncles, your mother, father that you love them. And Patriots, I'll see you tomorrow here on the Bald Brad Show. Take care.